on Clubhouse. He is a massive impact on Clubhouse. I want people to see. I want to see some more like double Heartbreaker bans, especially in Clubhouse.
Yeah, because we seen earlier from the stream, or I think I was actually packed, they placed a Thermite charge on one side of the wall, then X-Kairos is on the other.
Yep.
Bandit can only do one thing.
Yep.
And then that was a pretty easy round for.
I mean, you could argue that there are cheaper ways of dealing with it. If you're going to EMP anyway, EMP both sides of the roof, and now you can throw a nade, and then at least you're guaranteed that either you get the wall open or you kill Bandit. So that's less utility and more value for it. So I think we saw them use 2 Hibana charges there, and there was Castle in play as well, and they had nothing to deal with the Castle barricade, so it kind of came back to hunt them a bit.
Yeah, it's a very, very sneaky way to kind of counter a Bandit trick. If only there was an operator that could bandit 2 walls at once. I'm sure we'll see some of Kaid very, very soon, starting next week, of course, whenever Pro League does return. That's, I think that's the one I think everybody's looking forward to. Nomad, not so much, but Kaid on a map like Clubhouse, where there's a lot of those walls that you can electrify, and also the hatches primarily.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing to see what people come up with that. I think we're going to see things that we weren't expecting with Kaid. It can't just be the reinforced walls. I don't see him just being another bandit, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see some sneaky stuff with some barbed wire combos and hallways that you used to peak, and at least the damage has been normalized a little bit on the TS now. So.
But as current Sol speculation, we'll find out whenever, of course, the pro teams put that to the test. And let's see if Trust can pass the test of beating Liquid on a very difficult map. Liquid, they're going to have this kind of Latin America style of play where they want to try and take things as aggressively and quickly as they can. And certainly it's going to be starting off over towards that master bedroom side. They want to try and take control of that, which kind of screams, oh, maybe construction might be on the board.
Yeah, and you see Liquid running a bit of redundancy, the 2 Heartbreacher, which fairly normal in Clubhouse. You're a bit of a crazy one if you stick to always only running one. It's good to see that they can play almost an 8-3 frag with both of them, right? Because if you lose one, well, so be it. At least you can get something open. Quatsy taken out, sick right off the bat there.
Yeah, that's a very strong kill, you know, Thermite off the board. That really does limit Sexy Cake to only getting off one side of a wall. You know, Thermite has that ability where you could open up the double wall over towards server and then rotate and open up construction as well. So you can have that flexibility. Hibana doesn't fit in that category. She can only choose to open one side and one side only. Gohan's still alive, so they do have a bit of utility in terms of hunting those roamers. Will he make that work? That's for him to decide, and Sexy Cake even had to go over and pick up the diffuser as well. And looking at it, Liquid, they've slowed down quite a bit. They're not even making a full front over towards anything. However, Gohan finds one, he's seen another, but no, that will be Quadsy there on that Jaeger. The 416 does the damage, and Liquid, for the first time in this series, are not in a good position.
Yeah, and the place we saw Sick take a hit and die was outside the corner of Strip. So that shows quite a lot of aggressive play from Jaeger to actually go fight that, right?
So the X-Kairoses do get sent, and that will open up a way for Liquid to try and enter in through the bomb site. But with only 2 players left and only one way in, it makes things a lot easier for Trustus to hold the angles and have that number advantage, have the refrag potential as well. And Sexy Cake certainly in a rock and hard places. Maestro to his right and Quadsy to his left. No longer Maestro to his right. It's from below. Paula squares into a 2 versus 3, but Quadsy trades it right on back. So Paul still there. Can he find anybody else? One pressing him over towards the stairs, and that will be it. And, well, Liquid, they fall the first round.
Yeah, impressive. I'm glad to see them spice it up a bit and go for the outside peek on Thermite. It's great to see. It's not something that you'd normally do over and over again. But when you're playing a team that is so much more aggressive than you and on paper so much better and has so much more achieved, then like you have to. If you play by the book, there's a reason that those guys are where they are and the reason you are where you are, right?
Yeah. So Church and Arsenal Room will be the second pick bomb site for Trust. We did see from the stream a bit of mix-up. You know, they went for Gym and Bedroom instead of going for that Church, and that's kind of the flexibility you have. You know, the free bomb sites, you're inevitably going to play them anyway if you're very strong on your defense. And sure, let's just get the Church one done there and then if they do win this, then that will be the Gym and Bedroom, the option for them next. If they get to that, we'll see, because Liquid still can It's only 1-0 down. That's not that detrimental. So as if it's, you know, a 3-0 lead or a 4-0 lead, but even then, we've seen, you know, teams 4-0 up and such as today from the stream, and Pact brought it right on back. That could be a kind of similar thing, but this is a very different skill gap between both these teams.
I mean, you can never ever rule out a comeback, right? We might be here predicting that one team should be winning, and sure, based on history and how it's been going for the teams, and that is what any sane person should say, but you can never ever rule out the underdog. We've seen crazy things happen. I would like to see from Trust maybe the Ella swap to a Pulse or a Smoke, but something to help a little bit more to stop the execute. Right now, they might almost be going a little bit overboard with their aggressiveness. But who knows? Maybe that's what it takes to force Liquid to change up their playstyle a bit and make them uncomfortable. Yeah,
Pulse is a very strong operator. You can sit right in there in Armory. You can't really be touched too hard unless Buck really wants to try and kill you. And Roman Ella will be droned out. And in Strip Club, that's pretty much a death sentence. You have no way out. You really just have to try and take the fight. And the way that Liquid play, they'll come in, all guns blazing, really put the pressure, and already that's exactly what they're doing. Look how many angles being opened up, and, well, probably one of the best players that Liquid do have. It's going to be Ness trying to put the pressure on. Gohan can also send off another Dokkaebi call, and, well, look at that. We're going to see a quick run out, and that will actually work in favor from Quadzy, but no, the refrag will be there. And Quadzy, the guy who's been such a saving grace for Trust, and the only guy who's making trouble for Liquid.
And without a doubt, very beneficial run. He burned over a minute. He took down Nesk, one of their biggest fraggers, and on Ash. So that's full soft breach gone there, except for Buck. It's going to help a lot and slow down the execute.
Another kill being piled on by Trust as Sexy Kick gets eliminated by DreamHack. Paula trying to see if he can challenge the blue stairs as well, but nobody's going to be taking the bait, and Liquid look very, very shaky at the moment. Thermite Charge will open up that kitchen, and a double Grismot manages to land on the two Liquid members as they try and force their way down in towards the main stairs. Goo mines, of course, are always going to be a big thing that Liquid have to worry about in those kind of final dying seconds. We've seen how many times that Goo mines are so strong just to kind of give that sound cue and that kind of annoyance factor to the players of Liquid.
And especially when you combine a Goo mine with a Maestro, there is nothing worse than trying to pull Lego out of your feet while getting sapped.
Yeah, it's a very scary combo. Zig will do his last bit of droning and sees one behind the shelving unit and also one inside construction, so that's a good bit of intel being gathered, and a couple of smoke grenades as well get tossed on down to see if they can try and give cover towards the box side, but really nothing to even help Zig, but that will be a very aggressive peek coming in from Snuff, and he will pay for that. Gohan and Paula both squared up in towards that triple wall. Frag need to try and get rid of any Goo mines, but no, the shots come in from behind. DreamHack from the flank, and that will be a Vaj on the LMG, picks himself one as well, and things will fall as Trust Gaming, they take the lead 2-0. Oh, well, this is something that we did not expect.
It's great to see, like, just look at their faces. Every time they get around, they're almost surprised. It's really building the hype for them, right? And this is exactly what you don't want happening when you're Liquid, because we've seen this exact scenario not too long ago with a few different teams where the ones that were so supposed to win started losing a few rounds. It got to their head. They start panicking. How do we pull this back? Do we play more aggressive? Do we do all strats? Is it this or that that's causing us to lose? And now we're seeing Alibi being pulled out as well. Like, they're truly starting to loosen up on Trust.
Yeah, I think a great reference to that would be, think of Season 6 Finals. Ints, they were down in the dumpster. They were 4-1 down at the final map point. They pulled it back in 1-6-4.
Yeah.
It happens. We've seen that happen before. That was a great moment. Ints not being the same kind of team as we see at the moment after what happened to them at Chaos. They did lose 2 maps to 0, a 7-0 and then a 7-2. That's going to be pretty rough, and whoever does lose this match will face Ints tomorrow, and then we're going to have Team Liquid potentially, I think, the way it's going to go versus Chaos then.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting lineup, because sure, Ints lost a very, very big factor for them. But there's also, like, I don't care who you lose from a team, pulling a 14-2 score says something about the team that played you, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see any of these teams up against against Chaos.
Yeah, especially Chaos, which is one of those more weaker teams in the Pro League. We did see them struggle quite heavily, just barely missed the relegation zone. We'll see if they can do any better this season. You know, they no longer Snooken is in the roster. So that was a very big player for quite some time. You know, we look at Snooken dating back to S-Nose and different stuff like that.
He used to know.
Yeah, he did used to know, and then we didn't actually know what the team was called at a stage, and then we finally knew it was a bit of a secret at the end.
I'll give you a point for that one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Had to fit secret in there somehow.
How long did you have that one prepared?
I just made it there on the spot. I'm quite proud of myself.
That was good.
Get that clipped on the show reel. So, looking at it, it will be another roam game coming out from Trust Gaming. Leonski on the Alibi, an operator that we did see in our last map between Pact and also I forget who did Pact play? I've completely just forgotten.
What, Pact?
Yeah, who did Pact play last match? I completely have just bottled it.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
We're not looking too hot here at the moment.
It's been a very long day.
No, we'll just skip that. That's not too good from us. That's a big L. But we'll see if Liquid can keep it going here. They have a very aggressive attacking, you know, trying to get in their faces as they always do, trying to open up and try and really pick off anybody they can find. And at the moment, nobody really is going to take the bait. Trust Gaming holding very, very firm, holding very, very strong. It's actually Lestream, that's who it was. That's who it was, Lestream. We've redeemed ourselves, we think, we hope. It's been a long day. I agree with you on that one. We're getting too old.
Well, I mean, all of the maps, or all of the games have made it to, like, be quite damn close, right? Mm. And the overtime on the last one was quite surprising. I thought some of them would be way more one-sided than they were, score-wise at least.
So Vaj, he's going to be sat in a very awkward position there. A quick jump in potentially from Jim could put the bullet into the back of his head, and Zig will open up, and that will be a very good kill for him, and another one for Gohan. And look at this, just the aggression that you talked about. Liquid trying to push in through one wall all together. It works out well as they do have the advantage in a 4-man-to-2. Make that 4-to-1. 3-to-1 as the kills come back out from Snuff, but really not a lot he can do in that scenario. He gets one, but then the refrag automatically comes in, and that's kind of the Liquid that you discussed about.
It's terrifying to play against this because the problem is that normally when you get into a gunfight, you take like, you know, a half a second, or you back off and reload, you like recuperate after that fight, and then you get ready for the next call. Okay, where's the next guy? Where do I need to move? Where do I need to look? Against these guys, while you're shooting a guy, you see another one coming in. So even if you actually do win this gunfight, you're halfway down on ammo and you have another guy to fight that's already, like, he already knows your position. He's watching you shoot his teammate. And it's so rare that we see people actually get away with getting these 1 or 2 or 3 men spray downs. So when Liquid actually gets away with this, then the only thing you can do is either at least slow it down, try and split them up, and then fight them one-on-one. If you do allow them to come in as a group, it's almost impossible to win against it.
Yeah, that's the thing that we've seen Quadsy do, try and break that up with the quick, aggressive spawn kills that happen in Border. They need more of that.
Grab one of the operators that allow for this push, right? So that, like, grabbing a Heartbreacher, massive, because then they're not coming through that.
We've seen that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, if the trend follows and they start playing more of that aggressive playstyle, then things suddenly look very strong for Trust. But knowing Liquids, I think they're going to catch on to what Quadsy's been doing, just kind of jumping out in these very peculiar positions. Eventually, Liquid will catch on to that, as you don't really let spawn peaks continue over and over again. After, you know, the first one or second one, then you know, yeah, okay, take it a little bit slower, let the guy run out, let him be detected, then you know exactly where he is, and then you go for the pinch. Pretty easy kill in terms of that. It will be the cash room and that CCTV, and I'm expecting the Bandit to be another big factor to try and disrupt everything that really Liquid tried to do, but Liquid have not went near the garage at all. They have really pressured towards master bedroom and in towards construction, which, yeah, viable option as well, but maybe the lack of, you know, potentially Montagna being banned out, but then Liquid did ban that, so you're not expecting that as much. It's a bit of a mismatch.
With both Monty and Glass being out of play, taking garage is... It's a lot of effort, and you're spending a lot of utility and a lot of time trying to clear something where you could just go for Master and Office and Gym instead, right? It's a bit cheaper to take, although I would say if Trust can get away with these, like just doing the spawn peek, there's a big statement in that, right?
A couple of kills come out for the first time, and it will be a quick trade. Quadzy picks up Nest once again. Quadzy, let's call him Nest Killer from now on. But then straight away the refrag comes in. Paula has also entered his way in through Logistic Office and will finally make his approach in towards the bedroom. And even Zig, because they do have the double hard breach, can afford to use a bit of utility, open up another way in towards construction, forces anybody who may have been playing inside there to kind of fall back, and just creates another angle that the players of Trust have to be aware of. Gohan still has one logic bomb, and he will use that for the final push, I would imagine, to kind of make Trust in a very awkward position. Gives you that kind of final call out.
I still want to see a smoke on Trust. Just like Liquid is taking a while to do these pushes, and if you can play conservative enough with a smoke and really save them for the late one, so you can split up the attack and force Liquid to actually get a bit stressed about their push, then they're much more likely to make mistakes.
Gohan will try and use a bit of that destructibility that he does have available with the Skeleton Key, just like he done on Border as well. Zig will also open up the wall, so they have the breach head available to work their way in and just push on in like we seen them do last time. All of them trying to force their way and just kill everybody who tries to get in the way of them. A couple of more drones as well, but Trust Gaming holding strong. Nobody's overpeaked, nobody's died, but majority of them are going to be off the bomb site. And the way that Liquid play, where they try and force their way and get the refrag potential, that causes a lot of issues. Quick jump out from the Maestro, but then Sexy Kick will be there to get the refrag. And a 3 versus 3, he finds another one down to the pulse before the C4 was tossed out. Diffuser has been planted. Gohan, Sexy Kick, and Zig to keep their team alive. DreamHack and Snuff for the retake. Snuff extremely low health, and really, in this stage, if he tries to take the gunfight, he will lose it down to the sheer health advantage that Liquid will have. DreamHack does kill Gohan from below, so they don't have to worry about the verticality. Snuff may try and long-arm this, potentially. You can see the C4 of his fallen comrade will be there, tries to bait it, but the way that Liquid are set up, this should be a pretty easy clutch here for Sexy Kick. Sees ahead, but no, somehow Trust have managed to pull off the 2 versus 4. And you have to commend the Dutch for doing that.
That was one hell of a retake. I'm surprised that they weren't fighting for stock longer and lounge while having Pulse. And we saw Pulse up, like hugging the wall, trying to stop this with a C4. Normally, you'd prefer to see him downstairs, right, and try and fight this buck off, so maybe they could actually bandit trick that wall. But at the end, it worked out. Like, they pushed it so late for Liquid that Liquid had no other option than to just walk in and plant right then and there.
I still think that, you know, like you said, if they had a smoke, that would have been so much easier. You have to imagine. So sure, they're bringing the Pulse, but Pulse isn't that good. Whenever they should know Liquid likes to take control of downstairs first. They take control of any of those kind of Pulse spots towards the lounge area or towards the stock. They have their buck sitting there ready, armed and ready, just to hold those flank rotations the exact same way they did it at Border.
I mean, at least play down in basement, figure out where this buck is, right? And then try and help one of your roams, like pull Quatsi off and Jaeger. Let him chill a bit. I know he's dealing with Nesk almost every round, and it's almost becoming like the first match we saw with Empire and Eminem, right? Where Doki and Joystick was fighting all the time. I think you get more use out of Quatsi if you're working together with a Pulse working from below. Yeah. You could fight this buck, allow the people that are on site more freedom, then sure, Nesk might be free for a bit longer, but numbers matter more than anything in Siege, right? Intel and numbers. Being more players and then playing these crossfires, it's so difficult to fight two guys that are set in the right direction.
First blood will go in favor of Liquid. Typically, we've seen Trust get the first kill in a very quick refrag, but this time Trust, no refrag whatsoever. And, well, that guy Quadzy off the board. Another thing which I would also like to see was a potential Vigil room coming in from Trust, because first of all, Vigil cannot be spotted by a late rotate flank drone. And also he has impact grenades, which can, you know, he can rotate into bar. Impact to where we see the buck playing right in behind those shelving units at the stock. That's another option that they could go for if they want to have those quick early aggression, you know, roam kills as well. A couple of ways they could work around it, but then again, their own playstyle.
I mean, we've seen both that and actually Caviera, either dirt or like office master bedroom roam. Because it's not so much, I think people are misunderstanding what happens in that room. It's that you need to send a lot of people to deal with it. Because if one guy goes there, you die very quickly to that one pistol, and you'll never send one guy to take this fight. Because if he does get down, you might actually see an interrogation. And you're normally not going to go for it. It's just the fear of that actually happening, right?
So it will be the kind of prep phase now for the players of Liquid. They're going to start prepping everything that they need for this final attack, get the floor ripped open, which they have plenty of that destructibility from not only Ash, but Buck as well. And then all the hatches will be opened up. We've seen Dirt Tunnel being opened up, a lot of things that Trust have to worry about. Nesk also has to worry about a couple of goo lines being stuck inside of his foot. And has the Ash Launcher going to get rid of that very long Maestro camera, and a C4 kill, actually grenade kill should I say, comes out from the side of Team Liquid. However, a refrag from a Vaj will be there. Great shot onto the head of Gohan. Stuff as well, sitting there in the back, trying to see if he can hold on to construction as long as he can, but with a minute to go, he's going to have to play very quick and very aggressive if he wants to try and make anything off that. A Vaj, does he see the knee? No, his knee will be seen, however. A sexy kick on the Habana season. Just a Vaj backs away, 45 seconds to go, and still Trust on the back foot, and plenty of time for Liquid, like we've seen so many times.
I mean, Trust is just getting stronger the longer they wait right now, because every time Lesion gets one extra mine for this Dirt Tunnel push, that might be enough that they won't be able to go in and get a plant off if needed.
Snuff trying to take the fight to anybody wanting to push in through that dirt tour. It will be two people, and the flashbangs as well will come out, but he has moved very aggressively, but still loses that gunfight. However, the refrag comes in from DreamHack. However, everybody else will fall as well from Liquid, and that will be a quick cleanup from Trust. Double kill from DreamHack, double kill from Vaj, and that will send them one step closer to map number 3.
Vaj did some massive work from Church there. Getting that shot down the end of blue, up to the stairs. That's it's a rough one for Liquid to push, because they're losing all the utility that they need for these aggressive pushes, and then they're trying to push out from Dirt Tunnel, which is not going to work for them if he's stacking Lesion mines, because you're sitting there shooting the Lesion mines, dumping 3 frags in, or flashes in, sorry, and all of a sudden you have the entirety of well, more or less the entirety of Trust looking at one doorway, right? Like, that's a good way to counter it. But you don't see that on a map like Border, where you have to cover a plethora of different ways and angles that people could come in. So as soon as you commit to a take on Aura or on Clubhouse, the rotates are so long. Knowing that there are people in Dirt Tunnel, the only realistic place you're going to see them go is maybe to a kitchen drop, right? And it's still more or less covered from the same position.
So let's see how the gym and bedroom will fare for Trust in their final round for their defense, and then Liquid will have the go. We've known that Clubhouse is very defender favored, and then Liquid, the way that they did perform on Border, I think is a great taste to show the kind of playstyle that they have. And then again, you know, looking at it, Trust can then no longer play that aggressive, you know, jump out, try and make Liquid feel uncomfortable, because then Liquid have all the control, and from, you know, those kind of 4 or 5 rounds that we've seen from Liquid and their defense, they dictated the whole entire way through their defense. And if they do the same, Trust may crumble.
Yeah, just need to really make sure that they keep this lead they have now, because they don't have a lot of bargaining stuff on the swap, right? It's gonna be, at least I would assume that it's gonna be a lot harder for them when we see the swap now. But there's this statement with them doing the spawn peaks, is that you just have to do it one round. One round, show that you're actually okay and willing to run out or take these spawn peaks. You don't even have to actually hit it. But from now on, every window that will be opened by Trust in the early game is gonna, you know, it's an easy 20 extra seconds that Liquid have to deal with figuring out if there's actually anyone there, or if it's, you know, just a cheap open window.
Twitchstone trying to see if he can get anything done with getting rid of all the utility, get rid of the ADSs. It helps out Paula a lot, who has got a couple of frag grenades here and there, and certainly flashbangs as well can come in handy. We've seen a couple of flashbangs being thrown right into the back of the box downstairs, and didn't really work too far, but somehow Paula still won that immense gunfight. Still wondering how he managed to do that. Liquid, they're going to take the approach of more of a bit of a split push. You can see some players outside towards the west, and then some people out towards the east as well. So they're really making Trust awkward. They're making them being pushed in, and almost kind of like a Liquid sandwich. Just in the middle is Trust, and that's kind of the setup that they're trying to go for. Really just Sexy Kick by himself, trying to see if he can get any frags, and he does just that. Talking about that guy over towards the west side and east side. That's going to be a really big kill, because that does eliminate the fact of a potential bash the window and kill kind of opportune moment for the Egger.
Quality really looking just to pick up a little bit of at least some damage through here and slow them down, give them a breathe and try and figure out how they're going to deal with this.
Snuff will pick up down onto Zig as he tries to push on in, but really that's all it is. Even wastes the C4 and quite questionable by that. Tries to keep on peeking, but will come up against more players of Liquid as they will be storming the bomb site. Quadsy has to try and hold out as long as he can and deny the plant, but with the drones coming in and the shots being rattled back and forth by Liquid, they will come out on top, and a 1 versus 4 for Snuff, and the angle's being held, and it will be Nesk who's going to go up against who will manage to pick himself up a kill. And well, that's going to be a massive round, because if it went 5-1 in favor of Trust, then yeah, we kind of had a bit of faith there, but now 4-2, and whenever Liquid get the defense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Border's anything to pull from, especially Border being a really good map of Trust, at least in their playbook compared to what they're used to, then the swap should be rather difficult for Trust. But then again, we never know.
You never do know until they start performing, which certainly Trust have done that a lot more against the Latin America team, which, you know, Trust, I'm pretty sure this is their first time ever playing against a Latin America team as well. So, yeah, I kind of have to give credit to them. So, I think they're doing well. I don't believe we kind of expected them to do this well against, you know, Liquid on Clubhouse, but maybe then the attacks is where they start to struggle. I think for a lot of, you know, the kind of teams who are at that like tier 2 level, not quite there Pro League, which certainly Trust kind of fit under that scale, those kind of teams struggle a lot more in the attacks than they do in the defense.
Yeah, I think it has something to do about the feeling of winning and losing attack, because when you win an attack, it often comes across as like almost flawless. It's very aggressive. You're getting control, and you're often more attackers alive than you'd be when you win a defense, right? It feels more like you're taking a certain amount by force, and then you're actually controlling the flow of that game. Whereas on defense, it often comes down to just a 1v1 trade, or you pick this guy off as they're trying to. It's a lot of trading utility.
Yeah.
Whereas on attack, you group up and you kind of collapse on one poor little defender, and then, you know, you give him a proper beating. That doesn't really happen on defense. You don't set up around an attacker.
Yeah, I believe that, you know, the defense, you can afford sometimes to make mistakes. You know, you might throw a C4, you miss a C4, not a big deal. Maybe you rotate to a position that you shouldn't really rotate to. For attack, if you mess up and you do something wrong, that could severely cost your team that attacking round, because on attack, everything has to go picturesque perfect. It has to be there. Sure, you have a little bit of leeway, but you still need to make sure, you know, step 1's done, step 2 is done, step 3 is done. On defense, you don't have a checklist, you just play the game.
Yeah, and I mean, the same goes kind of with operators, right? Because on defense, you have a lot of operators that overlap. We were talking about how, like, almost all the entry intel operators, Valkyrie, Maestro, Echo, like all of these kind of overlap. It doesn't really matter if you ban one wall, you can make do with another. The same, you can always find a C4 on one operator where it's useful, right? Do you want Bandit? Well, you can also use Newton. Soon you'd be able to use Kaid as well. But on attack, you're a little bit more limited. We do have these 2.0s of operators, though.
It will be Team Liquid on the back foot, as it will be a Vice picking up the kill onto Paulus, and still plenty of time for Trust. We know that it takes at least another good minute, really, for Trust to get set up, get prepared. The first half of the round is really clear out any roamers. You didn't really have to do that in the old Clubhouse, but because you can roam, then you have to take that extra bit of time. But still, so much you can really push it about the 30-second, 20-second mark as much as you want, and they have plenty of utility. They have the sledgehammer, more importantly, to get rid of anybody in the back of Armory, and potentially that Armory wall is left soft, so we could see the quick rush and run in, which so many teams do quite a lot if they have the Ash. So if Diapet gets the call out, that could be something that he wants to go for.
Almost seeing a little bit of a Liquid attack coming out here from them.
Oh, the quadruple C4 coming out from Zig. You have got to be kidding me. A quadruple, and that is completely dumpster Trust Gaming. Oh, that's one for the highlight reel, Alex.
Why didn't Trust throw a C4 like that?
I don't think Liquid were that grouped up, to be honest. That,
Wow.
that must be, if you're Zig, you are feeling sweet.
That must have landed so damn perfect because there's quite a lot of space from, you know, the end wall to like halfway up mid stairs.
Yeah.
You need to land that like right in the middle to get all of them. That's something that's gonna tilt you on trust, right? There's someone sitting there thinking, why were you this close? Why didn't we have this open? Why isn't there a bit of pressure somewhere? What's going on, right?
There's a part of me that thinks Ovi, who's sitting in the crowd. If you don't know who Ovi is, he is the coach for Trust Gaming alongside Anthony as well. Anthony is the one who stands behind them, and if they do anything wrong, you know, he sits there and whips them and stuff like that. As a typical coach would not. I'm joking about that, but yeah, Ovi, big part, along with Anthony, a great coaching team behind Trust, and I can just imagine Ovi just face palming right now, just sitting there thinking, what has happened?
Yeah, I mean, he has a bit of history in Siege as well, right?
Yeah,
he,
champion,
he
pro league
used
champion.
to play with the team that we now know as G2, although a lot has changed since then, but he has.
Yeah, him and Pengu go way back.
yeah, exactly.
So, moving on into yet another defensive round for Liquid. It will be their cash room defense coming right up for their second pick, and that's where I said about, you know, the free bomb sites, you can really choose whatever way you want to pick them. It doesn't matter either way if you're strong on defense, which more times than none, we do see that third bomb site being chosen over and over again because defense is so heavily favored in terms of Clubhouse with, you know, the operator bans that we see. You know, Maverick, Montana maybe not so much, but then that may be to kind of stop the garage push, which may be incoming, you know, if Trust Gaming want to go that route. But really, they don't have a glass, so we're not really expecting that.
I mean, Clubhouse is very interesting right now because it's kind of playing out the same way that, well, I guess to be honest, most new maps do. If you go back to Coastline, the maps that or the bomb sites we thought were the best in the start are now some of the most least picked, right? Now we started seeing Cache and Basement being like the only bomb site that you'd want to play. Then slowly people, you know, got a bit more accustomed to playing the Gym Master, but we haven't really seen a lot of stuff on the bar yet. Not a lot of strats have been developed for that yet. I'm interested to see anyone dabble into that.
Trust Gaming, they know that a pulse is going to be brought by Gohan, and they're going to try and drone him out and try and pinch him and find him, and Quadzy will be there with the sledge, eliminates the pulse. A great pick. All the intel gathering that cardiac scanner could have provided, and of course that all-important nitro cell will be off the board. However, a very similar operator, Valkyrie, will still be lurking. That's going to be kind of the second option that maybe Trust want to try and hunt for. But Nesk, very slippery, does manage to rotate his way in towards Garage. And really looking at it, Trust, they've done their work. Now, what side are they going to push? That's the next question.
I mean, the problem here is, like, do you really want to take Garage with the lineup that you have on Trust? Is it worth it trying to go for that, right? How do you get away with that?
How does he miss that? We've seen.
I mean, I guess so. Having the shield here might not be the biggest issue as long as they don't have Garage control yet. But what's really stopping them from getting Garage control now, right?
Yeah, completely nothing, because that massive hole now in that double wall cuts off, you know, Paula trying to get back to the bomb site. So it really does limit him, and then also Nesk is there as well. So those two are now essentially in their own little world. They cannot go back to bomb site. If we see a very aggressive push coming in from Trust, very rapid with the 5-man over the 2, this could be a very big round for Trust. It kind of gets them back in the driving seat. That very early kill was so big, because not only you get rid of Pulse, you get rid of Gohan as well, who has been performing pretty well. I don't think he's doing as good as I think we thought, but still they're getting frags, and I think just everybody from Liquid is putting in a shift.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were expecting a lot coming out of Gohan just based off, you know, history.
A couple of quick frags come out, and Quadzy, he will bite the dusk, and Paula comes in. Quick double kill for him, a 3 versus 3, and still 2 players in the bomb site standing strong, but no, it will be Snuff winning that gunfight. Zig will refrag a 2 versus 1, as a Vaj also picks up a refrag onto Zig. Plant will go down 3 seconds to go. Paula, can he save this? Yes, he will. He will get the clutch. A 4K for Paula. Team Liquid pull it out of the bag, and that will square them up against Trust Gaming.
We've seen a new addition from Boot Camp pulling his weight in that round there.
I've been very impressed by Paula.
Yeah.
Very impressive, even last map as well.
I think the reason we might not see as much out of Gohan as we were expecting is that everyone else is doing so well. Like people really seem to, all of them, really be pulling their weight across everything, right? And Gohan was playing some Pulse earlier where he was spending a lot more time on the scanner than you'd otherwise see him do. So maybe this comes more down to them actually playing together as a team and not trying to out-frag each other. That's been something that we kind of at least felt like from a spectating standpoint has happened with some of these Brazilian teams is they were almost trying to out-frag each other, which ideally you're going to try and help your teammate get a frag so both of you are alive instead.
Yeah, there's no question that Latin America have some of the best fraggers in the world. EU have their handful, but certainly Latin America in terms of sheer numbers, I would say they have more. Looking at it, Trust, that could have been a massive round for them to swing momentum in their favor. Because of that incredible clutch by Paula, now this is where Liquid, their heads start to rise, and Trust Gaming, they start to slump. And that's never good for morale.
Yeah, the problem is how do you deal with something like that, right? Because ideally you were going to win that round, and the only reason you lost it was because of a little bit of a lost gunfight and kind of a freak accident in terms of where you decided to plant and the info you had. You're in a 2v1, and that diffuser should have gone down. There was ways that could have been played where you're getting the diffuser down. And as soon as that happens, realistically, you should never lose that. But it happens. The only problem is that really gets to your head, because you're sitting there thinking that this should have been an easy round, we should have won this. What do we do now?
So Gym and Bedroom is where Liquid will go for their third bomb site. So they've already played 2 and they've won 2. Can they make it free for free and then push their way into their remaining couple of rounds? And that's where we go back into that full rotation circle that we've talked about so much. Trust, they are already going to try and open up that double wall, creates that kind of divide, which is something very common, I would say, for both of the walls, because both of them split the bomb site in half.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to see them actually get this wall open. They were throwing nades in, but no one was even remotely close to do anything, right? We see Bandit playing a shotgun, not even trying to deal with the wall there.
I'm curious about that, because he's geared it out as well. He's chosen the Black Ice and the Team Liquid charm, so it means that he definitely did plan this.
Yeah, that is not a mistake. I mean, in all fairness, that shotgun will one-shot down anyone. Like, I think it's a 2-armor operator will get one-shot down on that range to the balcony. Yeah. So I guess if he's planning to stay on the stairs for the whole game, that's a fair play, right? Also, Sick being very annoying, taking out drones coming in. It's so underutilized using Maestro as almost a mute point 2.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So Nesk will be picking up that Vigil, but the way that Trust are playing, they have no interest towards that cash room, which may cause issues because Nesk has those kind of long, narrow angles, and anybody wants to jump in through the gym, the more common plant spot, that's going to be a very easy kill for the Vigil. Zig will start things off with the first kill, and Trust Gaming wasting a lot of utility and getting nothing from it as well.
It was a very good read by the Bandit there, running downstairs from Sexy Cake.
1 minute to go, and this is where all of the kills will start to come in, and it will be a 4 versus 2 in favor of Trust, as Avige just completely took the bomb site by himself and even destroys a couple of bulletproof cameras. Sexy Cake will manage to snag a Nitrocell kill and still has that shotgun, which we are so waiting to see. Nesk alive, you can never count out the Brazilian beast. Plant will start to be going down as well, and Sexy Cake even using the shotgun as a destructibility factor, but runs out of bullets. Nesk will get one for himself onto Avige. Comes out with the SMG-12 and will eliminate the opposing quads. They are 1 versus 1, make that 1 versus 0. Snuff pulls it back, and once again, Trust Gaming, they take control of the reins, and they are in the lead.
Snuff got there just in the right time. If that impact nade had hit just before Snuff was peaking, he'd been, you know, half sprint. Not ready for this. So, I mean, I think we actually got to give a little bit of credit to that Bandit shotgun. When he dropped downstairs and started shooting through the floor, that was very close to... I mean, he was inches off killing the planter, right? And if you were to actually get that guy down, I'd see Liquid actually take that round.
So moving in, Church and Arsenal Room. Gym did not work for them, so they get to go back to their first bomb site, which was pretty good considering a 4K Nitrocell came out of nowhere. I don't think he's going to do that again, but who knows?
I mean, I expect them not to be that close again, at least for the next few months.
Yeah, that's a 4K Nitrocell is 1 in a million. It's something that we don't see all too often.
On top of that, not only was it, you know, unfortunate for them, they were probably going to take the round if they were, you know, allowed to attack them, because when Trust actually does good is when they clear a lot of stuff, they take their time, they plan their attack, they set up, they kind of do like this, like almost, I'd say, well thought through Liquid attack, right? They still force their way in through 1 or 2 openings, but at least they take their time, they drone a little bit more. They're not running on top of each other, but apparently they're waiting on top of each other, which cost them that entire round. They had enough soft destruction. They could easily have done like an armory split, or they could have gone whole way to church for that matter after removing the Meister cam, right?
Once again, Trust not really having anything different in their attacking lineup. It's been the same 5 operators every single time for Clubhouse. Do you think that's something that Trust just like, is just their safety and comfort picks? Or is that something that you think that maybe they need to change?
I mean, they seem to be changing up a bit more on the defense, right? Having a bit more fun on that side and trying to figure out whatever could...
Quads or DreamHack? What is this? This may be a massive play from the Ash. Snuff will also get one. DreamHack, another one for him. A 2 versus 4. Make that a 1 versus 4. All down to Paula as a mute. That was, in the words of Parker and Terrobang Mackay, free real estate for Trust Gaming. Paula tries the retake, squares off into a 1 versus 2. If he clutches this, my oh my. What an up and down momentous round this will be if Paula manages to pull out the goods. But as you can see, the players of Trust are holding strong. He manages to sneak past the Ash and picks that down up, so 1 versus 1. But no, Snuff will be there. It looked very, very close. And look, even has your face on the gun.
That's a beautiful charm, isn't it? No, but in all seriousness, great read from them. Whoever called out that was a safe push, and then the instant commitment from everyone else, that it didn't take many seconds for everyone else to follow up and actually get in on site. But still, it gets down to 2v1.
This is match point for Trust.
Yeah.
This is not what we expected to see. This is miraculous from the young Dutch team. Can they have the momentum rolling high? Can they keep it going? Or will Liquid say, no, we are the pro team. This is why we should win this series with a miraculous comeback. Of course, even if they do take these next 2 rounds, overtime will still be a factor.
I don't know if people could hear this on stream, but we heard Snuff go woo louder than probably Troy would ever do.
I think Troy would have a couple of words to say about that.
Yeah, maybe. But his excitement is definitely showing here. So maybe that is all they need.
This has been such a match just in terms of crazy plays. It has been wild. We've seen so many quick refrags, we've seen rushes, we've seen quadruple C4s, we've seen clutches. This match has had everything that you could ever ask for, and you may be even asking for a 3rd match. And if that does, we get to see Villa on top of that.
I'm scared to even imagine what Villa's going to be like.
I don't think we can ever predict where that map will go, simply because we don't really see both of the teams ever play it.
And these 2 playstyles don't seem like something that fit if you squeeze it into Villa.
Yeah, both of these teams have completely opposite playstyles. Trust, they like to take it slow. If they see an opening, then they will pick up the pace. Liquid are all about the pace. They get into your face, they make you uncomfortable, and that's kind of how they win the game.
Trust seem to be this, like, the classy attack. They're setting everything up, they're planning stuff, and Liquid just walks in with a flamethrower and tries to, remove everything from the room.
Bandit charge almost managed to snag the Texan Dynamite, and actually did in that scenario. I thought Leonski had enough time to stop the animation there, but that was not the case. So they've lost 1 Thermite charge, and like you said about Liquid, they brought double hard breach. They will not in this scenario, and look at that. The punish coming in from DreamHack is, as you can see, Sexy Cake just getting a little bit too aggressive for his nature.
That's how you remove the bandit. Right?
Yeah, that's it pretty much. Another Texan Dynamite goes down and the wall will be opened up. But that's all they're going to get. They have no other way to use their hard breach because they do not bring Hibana.
Yeah, if they can take control of Master now, get a hole or line of sight into construction, then maybe they can get a plant off on the server rack, as long as they are sure that no Meister cams or Vault cams is in the way. There's possible 2 C4s in play, depending on if Mute or Vault has used any of them. Bait 1 or 2 of those out and then try and go for a plant. With full HP, you're still going to die if Meister starts early enough when you go for a plant. So they kind of have to get these Maestro cans away first.
Over a minute to go, and this is where Trust are going to try and take control of the downstairs. Claymore will manage to eliminate Paula. 3 versus 5. Gohan, Nesk, and Zig. Nest will square things off into a 3 versus 4 as Snuff, he will fall. But still plenty of things for Trust to work for. They can start working their way in towards the double wall. They will have to approach Gohan playing behind the shield and also has a Nitro Cell to deny access, but he's going to have to watch 2 angles at once, as I'm sure somebody from Trust will try and momentarily put some pressure towards Blue. You can even see the rotations coming in from the garage, and Avage, he will pick up Zig. Nesk, still Blue, has the Nitro Cell as well, but as you can see, the flank rotation will be covered by Diapek. 1 versus 4. Down the Gohan. Can the new player of Liquid pull off a clutch? He starts things off with a kill onto Diapek. C4 gets cooked and gets tossed out and will land the planter. Does he find another one? Yes, he will. He will get the down. It goes into a 1 versus 1. 20 seconds to go. The pickup will come in from Avage, and Quadzy, he will be picked up, but will he be put down right as soon as he gets revived? No, Gohan, he does not land the shots, and he will start to get pressured, and Quadzy will win that, and Trust Gaming will take Clubhouse against Team Liquid.